A very warm welcome to all of you. Myself, Professor Nagari SS from KG Somaya College, Kopargaon. In this lecture number 2, we are going to study the types of the chromatography. In the last lecture, we already studied the 5 different types of the chromatography. Now, what are the remaining types of this chromatography? So that we have to discuss in this current lecture. So let us start this lecture. Now, the first important type of this chromatography, in addition to the 5 types which we discussed in the last lecture. So the first type is gas chromatography. Now we already discussed what is the chromatography and 5 different types of this chromatography in the last lecture. Now this is a in general 6 number type of chromatography, but the first type in this lecture. Now what is this gas chromatography? It is a common type of chromatography used in analytical chemistry for separating and analyzing compounds that can be vaporized without decomposition. So this chromatography is useful for the separation and analysis of compounds that can be vaporized without decomposition. So in that vapor state, we have to study or analyze the given compound. So for this purpose, we use commonly this gas chromatography. It involves two phases. The mobile phase, it may be called as the moving phase, is a carrier gas, usually an inert gas like helium or an unreactive gas such as nitrogen are used. This chromatography consists of the two phases, among which the first is a mobile phase or moving phase, which is nothing but one carrier gas is there. Commonly, inert gases are used like helium, or some type the unreactive gases such as nitrogen are also used. The second phase is a stationary phase, which is microscopic layer of liquid or polymer or an inert solid support inside a piece of glass or metal tubing called a column. The second phase is nothing but the stationary phase. So that stationary phase in a general called as the column. So this gas chromatography consists of the two phases. One is a mobile phase and second one is a stationary phase. The gas chromatography is also known as vapor phase chromatography, that is VPC, or gas liquid partition chromatography, that is a GLPC. So these are the parallel name to this particular gas chromatography, that is VPC, or it may be called as the GLPC. Now, what are the important applications of this gas chromatography? So first one is the substance which vaporize below 300 degrees centigrade can be measured quantitatively. So if we want to study or to measure the quantity of the given substance which vaporize below 300 degrees centigrade are easily studied with the help of gas chromatography. The second important application is professionals working with GC analyze the content of a chemical product. For example, in assuring the quality of products in chemical industry or measuring the toxic substances in soil, air or water. So this is a next important application of this particular gas chromatography, that is it is useful on a professional level to analyze the content of a chemical product. So on a industrial scale, it is very useful for analysis of the content of the chemical product, such as in chemical industry or in the measurement of the toxic substances present in a soil, air or water. So it is useful for predicting the level of the pollution either in soil, air or water. The third important application is GC analyze hydrocarbons. So if we want to analyze the hydrocarbons, so we can use the GC technique. The fourth one is gas chromatography is used extensively in forensic science. So in forensic science, if we want to carry out some type of the analysis, so at that time gas chromatography is the best option. So these are the some important applications of the gas chromatography. Now the second important spectroscopy is the second important chromatography technique is nothing but the supercritical fluid chromatography, that is a SFC. It is a combination of gas and liquid chromatography. So if we combine together gas and liquid chromatography, it is called as the supercritical fluid chromatography. Now, what is meant by supercritical fluid? It is formed whenever a substance is heated above its critical temperature. So if we heat the given substance above its critical temperature, then there is a formation of supercritical fluid. At this temperature, a substance can no longer be condensed into its liquid state through the application of pressure. So the given substance cannot be condensed into its liquid state at this particular temperature. So that fluid is called as the supercritical fluid. Now this SFC technique is applicable to a class of compounds that cannot be easily analyzed by GLC or HPLC. So the drawbacks of GLC and HPLC can be removed with the help of this SFC technique to a class of compounds that cannot be easily analyzed. So this is a merits of this particular supercritical fluid chromatography. The resolving power is approximately 5 times that of the HPLC. So resolving power is very high as compared to the HPLC technique. Now what are the applications of this particular SFC chromatography? So first one is it is applied to a wide variety of samples including natural products, drugs, foods, pesticides, herbicides, polymers, surfactants, polymer additives, etc. The second one important application is it can analyze thermally labile compounds and solutes of very high molecular weight. So with the help of this technique, we may analyze the thermally labile compounds. If the thermally labile compounds is there, we can easily analyze these particular compounds with the help of SFC technique or the solutes with high molecular weight. So these are the two important applications of the supercritical fluid chromatography. Now the third important type of chromatography is capillary electrophoresis. It is an analytic separation technique which allows ion and charge molecule separation based on their mobility differences in a short period of time with high efficiency and low solvent consumption. So this analytical separation technique is useful for the separation or for the analysis of ions and charge molecules based on their mobility differences. So if there is a mixture is there of certain ions or charged molecules, so we may separate that mixture of either ions or charged molecules based on their differences in a mobility within a very short time span with high efficiency and low solvent consumption. So this is nothing but the capillary electrophoresis. The name of the technique is due to the site where the separation takes place, that is capillary. Now this name is given to this particular chromatographic techniques due to the site of a reaction or site of a working. This technique takes place at a site of that capillary, and that's why this technique is called as the capillary electrophoresis. The following are the different modes or methods of capillary electrophoresis. Now this electrophoresis technique is carried out in different modes or in a different methods. So these are the some important modes or methods of capillary electrophoresis. The first one is capillary zone electrophoresis, that is CZE. The second one is micellar electrokinetic chromatography, that is MEKC. The third one is capillary gel electrophoresis, that is a CGE, and the fourth one is capillary isoelectric focusing, that is a CIEF. So these are the some important modes or methods in which this capillary electrophoresis can be working. Now, what are the important applications of this particular chromatographic technique? The first one is the mode CZE has been employed in bioscience in order to separate peptides and proteins. So this mode of this particular chromatography is useful in bioscience in order to separate peptides and particular proteins. The second important application is CGE mode is usually used in biological science for the separation of macromolecules such as proteins and nucleic acids. So if you want to separate this type of the macromolecules, the mode used is a CGE. The third one is the mode CIEF is the mode used to separate peptides and proteins based on their isoelectric point. We know that for this particular peptides and proteins, the isoelectric point is there. So on the basis of that, we may separate these peptides and proteins by using the mode CIEF. The fourth important application is the mode CITP is useful for analyzing cations and anions simultaneously. So for simultaneous study or simultaneous analysis of cations and anions can be done with the help of mode CITP. And the next important application is The mode MEKC is used for the separation of charged solutes as well as the neutral solutes. So these are the some important applications of the capillary electrophoresis chromatography. So in this lecture we studied the three different types of the chromatography, their principles and the important applications. I hope you understand these types of the chromatography very well. If we like this video, please like it, share it, and if you cannot subscribe this channel yet, please subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon for getting the notification for the upcoming video lectures on the important topics from the syllabus. So with this, I stop here. Thank you for watching this video once again. Thank you so much.